23 years old.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and he wrote the whole thing. It's all him, and it's just an amazing piece of music. Just amazing, And so I watched, and it took like 2 hours. The thing lasted 2 hours, And so the other thing I got was what I thought was going to be like this really long documentary on AC/DC, right? Because I thought, well, why not? Yeah, I love AC/DC, right? But it wasn't. It was literally, it documented AC/DC from the very beginning to today. It's a 2017 release to today, right? But it's just all through released music videos that they've released. So it's all the music videos that they've,
So there's no dialogue with the
There's
band?
no dialogue. It just comes up between, it'll say the name of the song, right? And then it's the video of that song, the official that they released video of that song. Some of those are live
Do
performances.
they do like some of the old Bon Scott shit when he was playing the bagpipes on the streets?
Oh yeah, they did that. That one's in there, So they do all of them. The very first one, when he's got the stupid hairdo and he's in a dress.
Oh, yeah.
And so they takes you all the way through all the videos. But what was just so bizarre to me was after I came off of The Who and this incredible music and then wound up in AC/DC, it was the most juvenile, childish, not very good music I've ever heard in my life. It was just so... The stark difference between the two types of music was just like, it was so, I love AC/DC and they're awesome, their songs are amazing, right? But after about 12 songs and videos, the formula to AC/DC was exactly the same on every single, it's the exact same formula that they use. And then just, the way the songs are constructed, put together, compared to what I just came off of. It was just like, wow, what a difference. It was just an interesting observation.
But sometimes music, it's not about how intricate or complicated it is that makes it good. It's really the attitude that comes with it. And that's like a lot of what AC/DC does. But you're right. Their formula, they have maybe the best intros to any rock and roll songs ever. And it's because it's the same intro every time, a variety of, but it's the same kind of thing. But like you get to see like punk music, it's horrible music, but it's an attitude. The Ramones are terrible.
Yeah.
But it's an attitude. The Stones, musically, give me a freaking break.
Well, they're pretty good musically, actually, I think.
Oh God, some of that stuff that they put out musically,
I put the Stones above a lot of people as far as musicianship goes.
Like there was a German band called Trio, and they put out a song with one synthesizer, and all they do is go da da da.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's making a mockery of music, and in a way, it's kind of a fun song too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I totally see what you're saying.
It was just so weird to come off of this epic, amazing, everything, composition, performance, everything, to go to, whole lot of roses.
Oh, every song's
whole lot of roses.
A long song is 2 minutes and 50 seconds. A short song is 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you're right. They always open with a catchy riff. Damn you! And that catchy riff is usually usually is the chorus.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that usually is chorus. Then they go into the verse, right? And you got the singing going on. Then there'll be a little itty bitty mini pre-chorus. Then the hook, the chorus.
Yep.
And the other thing too is the chorus is always just a simple one-liner. Always a little one. If you want blood, you got it.
Bang.
That's it.
The bells about to rock. We salute you.
Bang. Or Hell's Bells.
Yeah.
It's just little things like that. Just a little. That's the whole chorus.
But they do it so damn good.
They do it good. So then you go to the chorus, then you go back to a verse, right? Little pre-chorus, then you go to your big chorus again. Then, of course, what shows up?
Guitar solo.
Guitar solo. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So then you got Angus, right? You come out of the guitar solo. You'll usually come into a little itty bitty, itsy bitsy little sort of breakdown of a sort, and then you're back into the song for the grand finale on the chorus or whatever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Exact same formula every single time. So what was interesting to watch, though, was...
That's 99% rock and roll.
Oh, no, I get it. Hey, I write songs like that. But what was interesting to see, though, too, for me, was to see it going from Bon Scott, and then, what's the guy's name? Brian Johnson?
Mm-hmm.
So now you got this guy, and he's got to come in and fill some shoes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's got to do it in the right way. And he did. He did it really, really good. But what I could see in it, though, was he had the formula.
Yeah.
The formula was in place. You know what I mean? He just had to fill in the spaces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With some sort of catchy little words. You know
And
what I
by
mean?
the way, you know, when he came in, we're not talking about mortgages yet. We will, but they had already written most of the music for Back in Black when Brian Johnson or when Bon Scott died. So they found Brian Johnson playing in some band. I forget what they're called, Screaming Over in England. He joined AC/DC because it was a better gig for him at the time. AC/DC wasn't entirely proven yet, but they were getting
pretty big.
They're getting bigger.
But they weren't Back in Black.
They were Back in Black. Brian Johnson sat down and wrote all the lyrics to every fucking song like in a weekend.
Yeah.
So he wrote Back in Black. They already had the music. He said, we'll see what you can do with this.
Yeah.
And he sat down, wrote the lyrics to one of the greatest rock and roll records ever with a band he's never played with, overnight.
And that album's what propelled it. That really got
Back
them.
in Black.
Yeah, that's what launched them into the huge arena scenes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, so just a real interesting thing to go through. If you're just tuning in, I just came back from Hawaii. I downloaded some movies on my phone to watch on the long plane flight home, and I started with The Who just released it. They did this in April of 2017. They played Tommy all the way through somewhere in England. It was just Roger and Pete and some other badass cats. But I watched this. It was a 2-hour performance of Tommy all the way through and some of their greatest hits. And it was just such great, epic, unbelievable music. And then after that, I watched, I got this other movie downloaded, which is all the AC/DC videos from the very first one they ever did to present today. And it was just such a stark difference in music and composition and, you know what I mean? It was just
But you look
interesting.
but then you look at bands like Yes, who's got complicated compositions and I would assume just difficult music to play, and it just starts driving me nuts after a while.
I don't think that. Actually, the truth is, I don't think that the Who's Tommy, right, is necessarily from a performance standpoint, being able to play. Pete Townsend is really a pretty, basic guitar player. You know what I mean? You closed out your 19s.
Did I?
Yeah. You did it in one throw.
No, I think I had 2 and I busted on that 3.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, that's when I hit that 3. I busted.
Oh, okay. But, so Townsend, I would not put Townsend in the virtuoso category like a lot of other guitar players. Not at all. He's really good. He's a great guitar player. You know what I mean? But the composition and the melody lines on top of what they do, that's really remarkable.
Right.
The composition. So, I don't know.
All right, so for the mortgages, we put porn up there in our subject line. That's kind of a hook, right?
It's a hook.
It's a hook. What are these guys? How are they going to wrap porn into the mortgage industry? If you've ever shown houses long enough, you'll know what I'm talking about for your real estate agents. But I ran across this. Let me see if I pulled it down. It says, let me pull it out. Where I thought I had it. Okay, I'll find it here.
What is that story?
All right, let's see. Hold on. I can give you the story, but I'm going to see if I can just pull it up.
Net neutrality. That's such a hot button.
Okay, here it is. Yeah. So the headline sort of right up there in front. It says net neutrality impact on free porn could be significant. The one I saw said, "Congratulations, you just killed free porn." And so basically, here's what happens with net neutrality: is so everything is delivered at once. So say you have Netflix, you have Facebook, you have a simple blog, you have Twitter. They all go to the back of a bus and they all get delivered at the same time. Okay? So what's happening with net neutrality is now they can see who is coming in and then they can pick and choose to deliver those messages or deliver that information at different times. They can prioritize them. So how do you determine on how it's going to be prioritized is going to be what these sites are willing to pay to these servers. So you have the likes of Comcast and AT&T, who, by the way, wanted to do away with net neutrality because it allows them to charge more. So now they can go to Amazon, they can go to Netflix, and they can hit those guys up for more money. so their stuff gets delivered quicker.
And keep in mind, these are huge bandwidth organizations that you're talking about.
They are huge
They're
bandwidth
huge,
organizations.
and keep in mind that there's money involved and expenses involved in allowing that bandwidth to pass through from those companies. So I do get why you would want to be able to, you can't just say you have to give everybody the same price, the same speed, the same everything. You can't treat, the internet like that, I don't think.
Well, that's what we've done up until now. So for example,
That's what I mean.
So, for example, Amazon, Netflix, Facebook, all the big guys, everybody, they support net neutrality.
Right.
AT&T, Comcast, they don't support net neutrality. Mm-hmm. It's going to allow the service providers to charge more money. They're going to make more money from this. So the concern there is, for your average user, like if you're going and looking at a car, there's not a lot of bandwidth. It's static. What's coming over. When you're streaming, you're using a ton of bandwidth, and maybe you do want that prioritized, so you're going to be able to see that quicker without everything locking up on you. What it hurts is for your loan officer or your real estate agent, if you've developed your own, well, frankly, what we do, okay? So we have developed a blog with a video that takes bandwidth that we use every day, and we aren't going to be able to compete with the bigger providers out there. So it could theoretically hurt what we're doing because our delivery rate's going to be slower. So maybe our video doesn't play as well. It starts locking up on a regular basis. That becomes problematic for people like us. For a real estate agent who's developed something that is not part of Twitter, not part of Facebook, not part of one of these larger companies where they're not going to have any issues. So what it's really going to do for your mom and pop marketer, it's going to kind of channel you to the Facebooks of the world. Okay, now maybe I want to host and do everything on Facebook because it's going to play better over there than it would playing on a simple blog.
Here's the truth, right? I don't think as us, I think this is going to be more impactful on the big guys than it is on us. I saw an article. I just read about it the other day because I was curious. And to me, it's still kind of hard to understand, right? But it was like, you know what? Up until 2014, your internet was working just fine. There was no net neutrality then. You know what I mean? It kicked in 2015. It's only been in place for 2 years, since 2015. Did you see anything major happen different for you in 2015? No. So now it's going back to what it was before 2015. And so what? For us, guess what? You're still going to be able to watch Netflix. You're still going to be able to watch play on Facebook. You're still going to be able to do those silly things. I think it's more of a being able to control. It's for the way I read it was, the way I saw it was, is that it's for the big companies that provide internet access, like Comcast and those guys, to have more control over what they're doing, right? And yeah, maybe they're charging bigger customers more money for more bandwidth. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the pro to the FCC going back to the way it was that I saw is that it opens up more competition. Because the truth is, that doesn't mean it's going to cost more, right? If anything, it creates a competitive atmosphere, and we all know what happens with competition, right? Things actually come down, and the people that are providing the service are going to put more money into it now because they're going to want to make it better than the other guy, right?
Okay. Well, here would be an example of packages. So if you are a person who buying buying a package, $5 gets you Facebook, Twitter, and I don't know something. $10 gets you this. $15 gets you this. $30 gets you this.
It allows them to treat the internet like a cable package. So you'd have to buy all your various websites.
But here's what I'm saying.
So you have to buy your various websites.
Here's the way I don't think that's going to happen. That is not going to happen because you've got Comcast, Verizon, and AT&T that are your three primary internet providers, right? They're the three guys. AT&T says, okay, you want to have Facebook and whatever, and it's going to cost you $5. Comcast goes, free for us. Who are you going to? I'm going to Comcast. I don't think for us, the end user, the consumer, I don't think we're going to see any of this stuff. I think it's going to be all on the back end. You know what I mean? It's going to be Facebook has to pay them. Amazon has to pay.
Well, that's what they're saying. Facebook and Amazon are going to pay them.
Yeah, that's where the money's going to come in, and then even then they have to be more competitive because Facebook and Amazon and those guys, they're going to go with the most competitive guy. I think. At the
end of the day, here's for.
Is it me?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, are you going to pay more or are you going to pay less?
I think at the end of the day, as a consumer, I don't think we'll see any change. Damn it.
So when I got my package, I don't even think they offer anymore. I have for like my data plan with my phone, I have unlimited on everything. So when I bought it, I see they were offering one of these things. I'm like, fuck it, I'd rather have just give me the unlimited for everything.
Yeah,
I don't want
I
to dig with
agree.
like overage and just
Smarter.
I don't even care if it. And then they quit offering those unlimited packages. Maybe they do. Some people do now, but like when we went and got our hotspot, they're like, how many gigs would you like? I'm like, I want them all. You know.
All of them.
Exactly. You know, but my thing. But what happened is now I have to. Well, if you want this, it's cheaper to get more. But it's just complicated. Just tell me what it's going to cost me to use. I don't want to have to worry about. I don't want to have to worry about my bill being $20, like my paycheck. I don't want to worry. I don't want to worry if it's going to be $20 or $2,000.
Yeah.
Just let me know what it's going to be, and then I can work with that.
Right.
But the question becomes then: is it going to be more expensive or less expensive, or is it going to be about the same? What do you think, Andrew?
I think it's going to end up being more expensive because they've already put this in place in India and Africa with the Facebook internet, and only Facebook works. And everyone else has to go to other internet providers that are usually...
Well, then Facebook's providing the internet over there, then, right?
Yeah, but you just can't do anything with Facebook.
Well, but then if Facebook wants to go out there anyway, if Facebook wants to go out and provide a service where you can get Facebook, that's Facebook's prerogative.
Well, Facebook also signed deals with like the government of India to provide that. So it's like you can't get any form of like national internet like you would in the U.S.
I mean, this
Except
whole
for
thing
just
kicked in 2015. Up until 2015, it was the way it is today. Up until 2015, it was the way it's become. Now they threw it out.
And by the way, you're
So
right.
in 2014, I didn't pay for Facebook.
Yeah.
I didn't pay for anything. There was free porn. There was everything. Right? So why all of a sudden is now it's gone back to what it was in 2014? Is everybody thinking it's going to be this big different thing?
See,
There was not a problem in 2014.
2013 is when those programs went live, the Africa and India programs, and that's what...
well, right here, I got it. It was 2015 was when we got net neutrality in the United States.
Yeah.
Now, Facebook sounds like they screwed the government. I mean, if what you're saying is true, well, then clearly Facebook went out there, they manipulated the system, and they screwed them. But Facebook is against what just took place.
Mhm.
Facebook wants net neutrality in the United States. Amazon wants net neutrality. And I'm thinking, why would they want that? Because as far as I can tell, it's going to force people to use their services even more. Like, shit, if, like, for instance, if we found that the National Real Estate Post wasn't running fine, then we'd be forced to go over and start hosting it on Facebook or something where you could actually do it, which would be bad for us. So I can see, like, where it could be complicated for us. But in that situation, Facebook would be happy because more people are using Facebook, and yet Facebook is against it. So
There's
I don't know.
there's no definitive answer in this.
Probably not.
I don't get it. I read it a couple times. I read, the naysayers. I read the people that are pro, the new rules, and it's confusing. I mean, at the end of the day, should the internet be treated as a utility, or is it private enterprise? Is it?
Well, here's what
is
what this is really allowing them to do. I'll tell you right now, it's positioning the government to be able to regulate the internet. I think that's the big play in this thing. At the end of the day, I don't think it's really about the cost because, it's Y2K. I mean, if you remember Y2K, every computer was going to stop working. Nuclear bombs were going to auto launch because they couldn't figure shit out. The world was going to crumble. And then Y2K rolled around and nobody was prepared for it and nothing happened. So I think this whole thing is going to be a whole bunch of nothing. But I think at the end of the day, the reason they're doing this is because it's going to allow them to regulate and monitor the internet more effectively. But you know what? Who knows?
And and you're right. And now they can regulate what goes in and goes out, right? So I mean,
well, by the way,
maybe that's good. Call me crazy, but maybe that's...
Well, who was the biggest? Who's the biggest pusher for getting rid of net neutrality? The biggest pusher is the National Association of Motion Pictures, and you know who runs the National Association of Motion Pictures, right? Christopher Dodd.
What?
Yeah, he's the president and CEO of the Motion Pictures Association of America.
Okay.
And remember, he said he wasn't going to go into lobbying.
Yeah.
And 1 week after he was out, he was a lobbyist for the Motion Picture Association of America. And the reason why they got him in there is because he was going to lobby all of his friends to get rid of net neutrality. And then there was a big uprising.
A Democrat wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so he jumped in there, and he thought he got paid the big bucks because Christopher Dodd was going to go in there, and he was going to get rid of net neutrality. There was a huge uprising. There were protests all across the country, and his bill didn't pass. And he went freaking berserk. You want to watch some great interviews? Watch Christopher Dodd after they voted down net neutrality last year. He lost his marbles. He completely freaked out. He was all pissed off. The reason why the Motion Picture Association of America want to get rid of net neutrality is net neutrality makes it easier for people to pirate movies. Because now you can have all these Pirate Bay sites and these torrents.
Yeah, maybe there's some good side to being able to regulate that stuff. Just making it just the wild, wild west may not be the best thing for the internet. That's all I'm saying.
What I kind of like Wild West. I mean, it gives free access of thought, and you can do what you want without any regulation.
I get it.
I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, I can argue a point.
Hey, can I stop ISIS crap from coming in the United States? Well, let's do that.
Right.
Well then you can't have net neutrality if you're going to stop that, right? Everything has to be able to come in.
I don't know.
No stopping anything. Why wouldn't we want to stop that? I mean, I'm okay with that. But then you worry about the government. If that's not, what else are they stopping? What else,
Right.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah, but here's the whole thing. I was having a conversation with, the Alexa things. I'm like, well, they can record everything that you're saying. And, the infamous they. Who's the they? It's the NSA, the CIA, the FBI. They can record everything that you're saying. And Mike Ballinger says, I don't care. He goes, I'm going to bore them to death. So listen all you want. For somebody like, me or you, we're not going to a bunch of these sites. I'm not pirating movies. I'm not doing any of this shit. For people like me who have a couple of dollars in their pocket, it ain't going to do anything to us. Might have an effect on somebody like Grant who has no money and wants to pirate everything. This might affect him.
Yeah, which, let's be honest, maybe that's a good thing. Oh, you dick. I don't think it'll mess with the real estate industry in any way. I don't know. I mean, I'm being completely honest. I don't think I fully understand it. So
like the tax bill.
Is there any way we can get a caller?
Oh yeah. By the way,
hold on.
If somebody's got some thoughts on net neutrality, give us a call at 707-330-1272. That's 707-330-1272. 707-330-1272. Give us a buzz. Let us know what you think about that. So anyways, let's see. So what do we got going on here? Let me see. Strong housing starts estimate matches rise in builders' confidence. So yesterday I was talking about builder confidence.
Yeah.
Okay? Builders are confident right now. Of course they're confident right now. They say a lot of the change in policies. I say, no, they're confident because they know whatever they build is going to sell for top dollar in seconds.
Absolutely.
Because we have no inventory. In truth, what I argued yesterday was, as a consumer, we don't want confident builders. We want scared builders. We want builders who are going to build, because builders have to build. That's what they do. If they don't build, they don't make money. And when they build, they make money. It just depends on how much money they're going to make. So when they're confident, there's only one reason they're confident. Is because whatever they build, they're going to sell. And they know they're going to sell it right now because there's no inventory anywhere. So we want to have builders, like I said, who are scared shitless. Now they're saying strong housing starts, they match builders' confidence. Well, of course it does. Like I said, yeah, I mean,
they're confident. There's a lot of housing starts. But yeah. You think there's no housing starts, but builder confidence is off the charts. It doesn't make any sense. They're stoked.
Oh man, I just flubbed that one.
What were you going for?
I was going for my 16.
Oh.
Here's one. This is kind of interesting. You always hear shitty thing about sports athletes these days. There's a pitcher down in Texas. His name is Cole Hamels. Okay.
Yeah.
Now he's rich, right?
Yeah.
So he just I think he was trying to sell his house, him and his wife, and they said, "Screw it, we're going to donate our house. We're giving it away." Okay.
Wow,
So
is
they're-
that it?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. They're giving the
Oh,
house.
God, are you kidding me? Who do you give that to?
They're giving it to charities that provide camps for children with special needs and chronic illnesses.
That's awesome. And that's a badass house to do that.
Oh, now you can go ahead and Google if you're watching right now Cole Hamels' house. But just to give you an idea, it's 32,000 square feet.
It looks like.
And
Maybe
he
you
had-
can bring it up over there,
I can-
Andrew.
Can you,
Message it to me.
Just from the link.
yeah, okay. It's Cole Hamels' house. He had it on the. Oh, hold on a second. He had it on the market for $9 million. 32,000 square feet. Can you imagine as a kid the game of hide and go seek you can play in that damn house?
32,000 square feet. See, I don't even think my house is 2,000. I think I'm like 1,800. So it's like 20 in my house.
Isn't that crazy?
Did you message yourself?
I'm doing it right now. But you always hear bad things about these athletes, and I'll tell you.
It's 17 of my houses. Actually 18, 17.77, so 18 of my homes.
Man,
Golly, 18 of them.
I'll tell you, this net neutrality is kind of killing my.
Oh, is it? Internet's all jacked up.
That's
It's
all
already
set up
happening.
over here.
We're gonna get an invoice any minute. Gonna get an invoice. Hey, would you like to pick up your internet speeds?
Well, you actually have. They put caps on your internet already. Data caps.
Yeah.
All right, there's the house.
We've already got that going on.
I just posted it in
Well,
the
it doesn't
timeline,
go
guys.
into effect until January 1st.
Let me ask you this, Andrew. Maybe you know.
Mhm.
Is there only so much bandwidth in the world? I
Yes,
mean,
actually,
yeah, is there?
yes.
So, with the current system that's in place,
Yeah.
you can only handle so much bandwidth.
Exactly.
So there's only so much bandwidth
Yes.
in the world.
That's true.
So you got to divide that up somehow.
And it's not always the same.
Well, you can create.
So
more
it
bandwidth.
changes?
Yeah, it's depending on how many servers are currently connected to the internet. Because the internet's really just a huge.
But if you had
function-
every server connected at
Mhm.
once, that would still equal only a certain amount of bandwidth.
Exactly.
So there's only so much bandwidth.
Exactly.
That's
So-
interesting. It's kind of like Bitcoin. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. But you know what? There's only so much bandwidth, man.
Right. Hey,
You
by the
got to
way,
divide it up somehow.
and by the way, we got Doug Carpenter who's watching us for the first time from Home Mortgage. Let's see.
I'm up, right?
Yeah, you're up. I can't hit my 16s, dude. I can't hit my 16s.
Okay, so they can see the TV and the TV angle.
People are bringing cryptocurrency into the housing market, with buyers using it as part of their transactions and sellers accepting payment in Bitcoin, according to Redfin.
Would you accept Bitcoin payment?
Boy, right now at its current value,
I wouldn't.
no.
I don't want any Bitcoin.
Well, you know the problem with Bitcoin as an investment, it's the thing that everybody is looking at right now, because it's sexy to say I knew about this 7 years ago when it was 30 cents, and if I would have put $100, I would be a millionaire now. That's a fun conversation to have with somebody, but you didn't. I mean, that's it. And so everybody's throwing money at Bitcoin right now, but the truth of the matter is it's so unbelievably volatile. I mean, what if you spent $50,000 on Bitcoin and it goes down 30% overnight, which, by the way, it does. You know, I mean, it's at 17,000 per Bitcoin right now. But are you buying it at 17 thinking it's going to go to 25? You really got that much faith in it? I'll tell you right now what's going to happen. Hackers. We've talked about this. Hackers. Where are they doing? By the way, where are most of these Bitcoin exchanges at right now? They're in freaking Venezuela. Venezuela. They don't even have an acting government right now. That's where most of these servers are. Seriously, I'm not
It
joking.
doesn't really put a lot of confidence in
No.
it.
And right now, they say in North Korea that they've got just teams of groups, legions of people that are dedicated to doing nothing other than hacking Bitcoin. Because there's a lot of money and a lot of untraceable currency in it for them, and they don't, the tighter the sanctions get, well, the more they're going to try to hack Bitcoin. Now, if you have all these exchanges in Venezuela, and you've got that crazy bastard North Korea trying to hack them, do you really want to put your retirement in that? For me personally, no.
I don't, and we're probably idiots, and we're probably going to be proven to be complete morons down the road. And Bitcoin is the revenue or the money of the future. You know what I mean? So there's the house; they can see it on the screen. That's the house that he's giving away. So was there any point besides that he was giving it up for? He was going to donate it, or was there something you're going to doing
No, I just
letting
it's,
us know.
It's just when you hear all the bad shit about athletes right now, and here you got a guy down there who's giving away a $10 million house to help kids, and I just think that's pretty cool stuff. You know what I mean?
Totally.
You have that JJ Watt down there in Texas. Maybe you have to be an athlete in Texas in order to be a good guy. You're not really getting that Philadelphia guy who's doing all the nice stuff. You're getting, you know what I mean?
Those Texans, man.
Those Texans.
Hey, we got a guy in Arizona sent us a switchblade. Not
Yes. Okay. Purchase market growth led to increased risk in third quarter originations. Underwriting purchase loans is inherently more precarious for mortgage lenders, and that contributed to the year-over-year increase.
FHA. I mean, if most of them are FHA, that's why. FHAs are riskier. And I bet you, I wonder what the ratio is. Can you look that up? What's the current FHA to conventional ratio nationwide?
It's housing index credit or 11 points in 1993, third quarter 2016.
The housing credit index.
Yeah. So okay. Basically, I think what they're getting into it was a shift from a refi market to a purchase market, and so your purchase market is going to be more inherently.
You're going to have lower credit scores.
Yeah, well, and there's more possibility for fraud with a purchase than a refi. Refi is pretty much straight up is what they're saying.
All right.
But you know what? Here's the thing that I've never understood about this. We've been covering this crap forever. It's the assumption that fraud is going up and down, like these significant ebbs and flows. It's as if people are waking up today saying, I'm going to commit fraud today, and then I'm not going to commit fraud tomorrow. I'm going to commit. I don't think people do that. You don't walk in and out of a criminal life. You either do it or you don't. And if you do it or you don't, you think the numbers would be consistent. I think when these guys call it, say, fraud, I think what they really mean is shoddy underwriting or, putting together shoddy files, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's fraud. I think it's, and then by the way, when you don't allow for any material defects on a file, and if you do have a material defect, you're going to put that in the fraud pile. Well, it's not fraud. You're just looking at things more closely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
As people say, autism is up 300% over the past 20 years.
We just notice it now.
Yeah, is autism up 300%, or are we just starting to diagnose it? It's always been there.
That's what I think. Yeah, I think it's been around forever. You got a 16. Do you know what they should do is put, you busted it. You know what they should do is make a Bitcoin index for adjustable rate mortgages. What's your rate today?
Someone's gonna.
It's really low. What's it tomorrow? Oh my God! Shit! Like the most volatile index on the face of the earth.
So, single-family housing starts rise to the highest level in decades. Now, let me ask you this, Frank. Are we at some point going to give this president any credit for all the good shit happening in our economy, or is that not allowed?
Did you see his speech yesterday? So it was on what was it on? His national defense or national security, basically. But he goes through and starts mentioning all the things, like since he got in, all these wonderful things, like this is here, this is there, this is here. And whenever you see a president's speech in the past, right, about anything, when there's something good, people are cheering, they're standing up and applauding. Dude, it was just like, it's like, GDP's bigger than it's ever been ever.
Yeah.
Right? And people are like,
right.
And they're just such assholes. They're just assholes. It's like,
stock market
you can't do anything right, even though everything is like, all these wonderful things are happening. It's just like, we don't care. Oh, and then this is the best. So he opens the speech, okay? He opens the speech saying, I just want to say, we feel for the families of the victims of the train crash in Washington State. Right. Well, prior to that, he had sent a tweet, right? And his very first tweet said, if I recall, something like, sorry to hear about this accident, in Washington. He said it was clear that he felt bad about the accident. Then he said, and this is why we got to fix our infrastructure and our country instead of giving all this money to the Middle East, $7 trillion to the Middle East, or whatever it is, and or whatever the number was. And he goes, that's not going to happen much longer, right? Then later he sent a tweet again saying just heartfelt condolences to the family.
And I already know you're going with this.
Yeah. So then the media's like, clearly, his first tweet, he's more concerned about his agenda than he is about the people. He must have felt bad.
Oh, God.
And that was the news. That was the news. It's like they're picking apart, isn't it? Come on. Come on.
Here's the thing. We've gotten to a point, and I think that social media has a lot to do with this, because the algorithms that you have, like on your Facebook account, is going to see what you like, what you follow, what you click on, what you say, and then it's going to hit more of that shit to you.
Yeah.
So if you say a nice thing about Trump, you're going to get all the nice stuff about Trump, you're going to get all the bad stuff about Hillary and Barack and the Democrats. If you say something bad about Trump, you're going to get all the nice stuff about Hillary. So I think how we are consuming information, there's algorithms in our social sites that is reinforcing your beliefs. It's not giving you the dissenting view. And so what happens is now you get all in or all out on either side. Or before you could say, you know what? Donald Trump comes across as a schmuck sometimes. Mm-hmm. But he's doing a good job with the economy. Mm-hmm. There's no more of that. You called him a schmuck. I also said he's doing great on the economy. No. You called him a schmuck. He's the greatest American ever.
I mean, there's stuff that irritates me about Trump.
No, but you see what I'm saying? There's no middle ground. It's the same thing with Hillary. Well, I mean, she was the Secretary of State, and she was in the White House for 8 years with her husband, and she was a senator from New York, so she does have a lot of experience. But she's not the person for me. Oh yeah, you think she's and it's like, shut up. No, I'm trying to look at things and not take a biased perspective. Yeah. You can't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, when that guy tried to blow himself up in New York, he strapped all that shit to himself, and it didn't work, and he basically just burned the hell out of his guts.
Yeah.
You get CNN who does 9 hours of Trump drinking 12 Diet Cokes a day.
I know. What was with that?
I was like,
who cares?
It's just crazy.
Who cares?
By the way, so
that's why we need net neutrality. I mean, see?
And that's why senior citizens should not be allowed to drive.
No, I mean, that's why we don't need net neutrality. That's what Please filter some shit for me. You tripled it. Accepting call-ins, talking about virtually anything and nothing and everything.
By the way, I haven't seen Frank for like 5 days, which, I see him more than I see my wife, so we're just doing a little catch-up here. We're not talking the mortgage industry as much as we probably should be, but you know what?
So I saw my daughter graduate with her bachelor's.
Oh, yes, yeah. We talked about that on the show.
Yeah, so that was nice. She graduated at the University of Hawaii and summa cum laude.
What does that mean? That's big.
That means that's the top at every class. So you're 3.95 or above.
Really?
Yeah. So she.
That's awesome.
Up. Yeah, they said all her summa cum laude stand up. She stood up, and I got that on video. That was hard.
Now, did she decide where she's going to school?
She has put in about 5 or 6 applications. Duke in North Carolina being one of them. Washington State, one of them. I can't remember where the other ones are, but she's going for a doctorate program where you find a professor to take you under their wing.
What does she do?
What does she want to do? Psychology, but she's not doing She's not in the area of psychology, which is how did that make you feel? She's not that. She's into research and statistical analysis and that type of stuff. Figuring out why certain demographic groups are the way they are, why certain races are the way, how people, what people feel about different races and things like that. She's into that type of stuff. So you go, okay, well, what do you do? Let's say she gets her doctorate, right? So the thought is if you get your doctorate, you're going to then become a professor, right? You're going to become a professor somewhere and get notoriety in the academic world for being this brilliant person in this field of psychology, right? Or you can go into the private sector. Who do you work for when you do this type of analysis and surveying? Everything we're talking about. You work for Amazon. You work for Google. You work for Facebook. You work for these organizations that are writing these algorithms that are trying to figure people out and figure demographic groups out. And there's big dough in that stuff.
Yep.
And so we were in the car, we were talking, she goes, yeah, so I can go this way or go that way. I said, well, I think you go that way.
Go big bucks.
Go for the big bucks. You spent all this time and all this energy to get this PhD in this field. You know what I mean? What do? Don't make, and there's nothing wrong with being a professor, but I don't know if they make that much money. It depends on what school, obviously, how much money you'll make. But
Take the money.
But that's what I'm saying. Go cash in on your, and she's really good at it. I mean, come on, she's got a 3.9. She was above 3.95. I think she's 3.98, 3.99 was her GPA, and she's going to continue to do that. So she's really good at it. She's really smart at it. Put it to use. You know what I mean?
Duke in North Carolina to kill her. I love North Carolina. North Carolina is awesome.
I told her that, and she thinks that's her best possibility because the professor that she worked under in University of Hawaii is best buddies with the professor at Duke. And has already sent, like, this student is kind of a really
Why do
good student.
Hawaiians like to eat Spam? She does shit like that.
Yeah. Things like that.
If you have a Hyundai and a big spoiler on the back of it, who's driving it?
Yes. Stereotypes, things like that. Yeah, she delves into that.
If you have a 68 El Camino and its paint is sparkly and it changes color depending on how you're looking at it.
What city do you live in? Modesto? Or Seattle.
Right.
I'm thinking Modesto. Yeah, and she, from time to time when she's going through school, she has to do surveys and things like that with people. I had to do like 3 or 4 surveys for her that were like 50 questions long, and they're just bizarre little surveys where you have to, here's the scenario, do you think this was very racist? Not very racist.
Okay, so we're going to do a survey here for you, and what I'd like you to do is, depending on how much you agree with the statement, I want you to put more refried beans in that bowl. So if you don't agree, no refried beans. If you really agree, lots of refried beans. Okay, now here's your refried beans.
So anyway, that was cool. But, me in Hawaii, I lived there for 5-6 years, and, I've just had enough of Hawaii. People are like, oh, lucky you. I'm like, are you kidding me? I might as well be on a raft in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
I mean, you hate what most people love. But I had one of my good friends growing up, Brian Souza. He got island fever out there. He couldn't stand it. He couldn't stand it. It was just too. He goes, unless you like to surf a ton, he goes, Hawaii gets boring.
Now, it is boring. It drives me crazy. Like my wife would call me after the graduation, which is over at 1. I went to my hotel room and I stayed there the rest of the day. I took naps and stuff. I was like.
Don't they have mountains to hike and beautiful tropical? Go pick a coconut or
sure.
I mean, don't they?
They do. You can.
You know what your problem is? You're not drinking.
Oh, if I was drinking, I would have had a great time.
Right.
Oh, dude, I still wouldn't have left the hotel. They had a kick-ass bar down there. It would have been like, this is it. I'm just going to camp out right here.
Did I tell you? So me and my wife went to Zihuatanejo. Andrew, let me tell you this. We went to Zihuatanejo. Okay, so this is her romantic getaway. So in Zihuatanejo, she found what is considered one of the 10 most romantic hotels in the world. And so it's built into a cliff. And we have one of those pools where the water goes over the edge
Gravity
of it.
pool.
Yeah, and so you got the ocean down below you, and it's this little tiny farming town. Well, next to Zihuatanejo, they have the city of Ixtapa. Ixtapa is party central. It's your Cancun type of shit, right? This was a total coincidence. I swear to God, this is a coincidence. It turns out my old drinking buddy roommate at Davis was going to Zihuatanejo on the exact weekend I was going to...
He was going to the other city?
Yeah.
And you're going to Zihuatanejo?
So can you picture this? We're sitting in a restaurant together. Oh my God, honey, what incredible coincidence. It's Chris Belsky.
This is great!
What are the chances of running into him 4,000 miles away from our house? Swear to God that happened.
So
swear to God.
Can we do the math?
Oh, so by the way, it was a coincidence. But so we knew this going over there. I told my wife ahead of time. I said we're not going to hang out with Chris the whole time. We'll just go say hi to him one time. Chris is this Polish guy. He's like 6'4", as big as a damn house, and the most laid back person you'll ever meet from Wisconsin. So like drinking beer is a religion to him.
Yeah.
So we go to this hotel, and it's the typical party hotel where he's sitting in the pool. The bar is at the, and so he's half in water, half out, and he's sitting there, and he is so, and it's like 9 in the morning.
He's slaughtered.
He is so drunk and stoned he can't even see straight. So we go over there and he goes, oh, hey dude, because I said that, hey dude, yeah. And I go, he goes, you know what happened? I go, what? He goes, we went down to this head shop and I noticed some pipes over there, and so I go, hey man, you got anything maybe you can put in the pipes? You know what I mean? He goes, and the guy came back and sold me more weed than I've ever seen in my life. I go, how much? He goes, I don't know, about the size of a football. I swear to God, that's what he said. I go, what are you going to do with all this weed? He goes, I'm going to try to smoke it before I leave. He was there with his wife, and he had a football-sized thing of weed and a fucking swimming pool with a bar in it.
His wife done that.
His wife,
Yeah, right? So where are you going to go? Nowhere.
His wife's all pissed off. Like, the whole trip, going, hey, let's go have fun.
Let's go hike.
He's
You
just,
can see this.
no.
Forget
He's
it.
down there at 9 in the morning.
But that's a good vacation. That's my kind of vacation.
I wanted so bad to say, Jim, why don't you go hang out with
Yeah.
Chris's wife? Me and him are just going to...
Exactly.
You come get me next week sometime. I'll be right here.
Exactly. That'd be awesome.
Oh my God. It was so funny. But Z1 today was cool. Actually, you would even like Z1 today. It was neat. It was like not totally... Yeah, it was. Oh, yeah, it just was.
Well,
Did I get in?
no.
Alright, is that... No, I got one more to go. Oh, goodness, guys. Let's see. What time we got here?
11:47.
So,
If anybody wants to call again, feel free to call in 707-330-1272. It's on the screen. And by the way, if somebody wants to come down here and hang out with us one time, you are more than welcome to do it. So you got one?
I got one.
All right. Let's see. Who do we got here? Let me see. So, okay, first time watching. Thanks, Doug. Totally appreciate it. There's going to be a crash during the next election year. Maybe. Yeah, there could very well could be. I think some barbers don't consider exaggerating numbers as fraud. Well, it's buyers are liars. Slow down. Buyers are liars. Have you heard that before? It's not that they're liars, but it's catching a fish. Everybody thinks their fish is a little bigger than it is. And loan officers do it too. If you ever talk to a loan officer, say, how many units do you do per month? If they say, I do 6 units per month, it's like, okay, you do 2, maybe 3 sometimes. You did 6 once, but now it's 6 all the time. If it's up to the internet service provider what to allow, then part of the attraction of an ISP could be an open or filtered consumer choice. Very good. Good point. Rich says, these are a few of my favorite things. Right? Keep going. What the fuck is get out of here? I think you're right. Keep going. Yeah, and by the way, Megan Jackson, she brings up a great point here. Here's the thing. So Facebook and Amazon are going to, again, people like us, it's not going to hurt. And when I say people like us, I'm talking people with a couple extra dollars in their pocket. Maybe it goes from, I don't even know. I have all of these things. I have no idea what I pay for any of them. But, what is what is Netflix now? $10, $20?
I think it's $9. $9.95. I don't know.
They
I
just
don't pay for it.
They raised it like a couple months ago.
Okay, but you're going to see that passed on to the consumer, as is the case, all the time. Everything's going to get passed on to the consumer. But again, so if you're paying a couple bucks more, like for me personally, like I said, well, you're not using all this data, Mr. Stevens. If you went onto this one where you paid on the off hours and then the peak hours and you paid this, you're going to save some money. I'm like, I don't want to. I want to know that my payment's going to be that. If I use more, if I use less, I don't want to have to think about this. If I have to think about what I'm using, then I've already lost. I mean, that's me personally. I mean, that's you too.
Totally. Just give me the package, man.
Right.
I just want to, okay, it's $20 a month unlimited. Thank you. Let's move on.
So if they come out with something, and it's going to cost a few dollars more, however, I'm going to get everything blazing fast. Here's my concern. I want my shit to run fast. More than what does it cost, how does it work? Yeah. I'm more concerned about how it works than what it costs.
And here's the thing, too. It's the unlimited, for a certain amount. I bet they make more money on that than they lose. Because I bet most people don't use the bandwidth that you could have got for the $20 or the $40, whatever it is. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet, right?
Right.
They're making money on that. You're going to get in there and spend your $12, right? And you're going to eat $2.50 worth of food.
Well, you bring up a great point. It's the same type of thing. It's a great point. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet is going to appeal to some people because I'm really going to get my money's worth. And I say to myself, when was the last time you went out to a restaurant for dinner or lunch and after you're done with everything, you're like, shit, I want more?
Yeah, no.
I mean, when was the last time that's ever happened? It never happens. I'll tell you what does happen. We go to this Afghani place around the corner,
yeah.
Habib's Kebabs, right? So Habib's Kebabs, you go there, and they give you like crushed lentils with some type of saffron and cumin seasoning,
Yeah.
and then they give you beans
Yeah.
with some seasoning that's wonderful, and then they give you flatbread that they bake. That's how you warm up. You don't even order. I shit you not, go there. Their food is killer. It's off the charts good. It's all healthy, all clean, not deep. You know, but by the time you're done with the lentils and the beans and the flatbreads that they cook, it's like I don't think I
full.
need to, yeah.
I'm full.
I don't want to. You just feel like you have to order at that point. So it's the same thing with the internet. You know, I think at the end of the day, probably a much ado about nothing, as someone said. All right, hold on. Let me see. Oh shit! Bad release. That one felt good. All right, so tomorrow we're going to try to get oh, and by the way, as we said before, guys, if you have something you want to talk about, we can go ahead and send you a link. If there's anything in particular that's going to be a deeper dive, we can go ahead and send you a link and let you talk about it on here, as we've done before. We actually can overlay this. And by the way, Frank, we're going to be broadcasting on YouTube as well at the same time.
When?
Probably next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but we have so with the system that we have in here with our multiple cameras, we also have the ability to have you on here. So we can overlay this, which is what we do with the Zoom. So feel free to reach out to us if you have something you want to talk about that you think is compelling or interesting, that's mortgage or real estate related. Make sure you call in. It is more fun when people call in. So, and also make sure that you like the page. And then when we go live every day, it'll give you a notice. And if you're bored sitting at your desk having lunch, and join us for an hour or so. With that said, let me see if I can get this. Bad release. Shit.
Yeah, they'll also announce this on Twitter.
Okay.
I'm just finishing setting it up.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to finish our game. I guess we'll let you go at this point. It's about 10 till. I appreciate everybody joining, like I said, and Frank just won the fucking game, asshole. Sorry for cussing, but fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. He's on a winning streak like nobody.
What a way to finish the game. Well, you could still do the old catch-up thing. We have our own game that we play. It's not a real dart game.
I'll see you guys.
I'll go ahead and fade out.
That was a great way to end the show. Killed it!